Okay, May had Star Wars, June had Supergirl, and July just looked at both of those months, laughed and said, hold my drink. We got Christopher Nolan, dropping what might be the most ambitious film of his entire career. Tom Holland is back as Spider-Man with the Punisher, the Hulk, and a mystery character that the entire internet is convinced is Jean Grey. So let's have a look. Hey guys, I'm Damesies, and this is Geek and Plunder. July 2026 must be one of the craziest movie months we've had in, well, quite a while. And we're opening up on July 1st with Minions and Monsters. And look, I know, you wouldn't expect a guy like me to go to a Minions movie. Hear me out. The concept is actually pretty cool. For me personally, better than the previous Minion movies. I know, blasphemy, whatever. Now, the reason is because it's set in the 1920s and the Minions are going up against the Universal classic monsters. I love that. That's Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, all of those guys. It was a golden age of Hollywood horror. It's one of the reasons I want to get to Epic Universe one day. Yeah, not anytime soon though. I mean, look, there's something that gets me really excited about this. And you know what? Illumination has proven that they know what they're doing. They're not looking for Oscars. They want to make kids and really tall kids just lose their mind. And to be fair, they succeed. But yeah, this is one of those movies that you take the younger ones to, like my 12-year-old niece. But if you do, you're going to be surprised how much you actually liked it yourself. Trust me, there's no shame in enjoying it. All right, number 4. This is one of my favorites making a return. In a way, Evil Dead Burn. It's coming on July 10th. And the reason it's on this list is not just because personally, I am a big fan of the Evil Dead series, and it's not the franchise by itself. It is mainly the director for this movie, Sebastian Vanecek. He made Infested back in 2023. It was a spider horror movie. I know some people that have nightmares about this thing. It is one of the most visceral, terrifying creature horror movies that we've seen in a very long time. And apparently Sam Raimi agreed. He was so impressed actually that he invited Vanecek do the next Evil Dead movie. In any case, that guy that directed those horrific spiders is now going to do Deadites. And apparently he told the studio he wants to make this, and I quote, a nasty film, a film that hurts, from which you come away tested. I mean, okay. The setup. There's a woman, she loses her husband and she decides to retreat to the abandoned cabin of her in-laws to grieve the passing of her husband. And one by one, these in-laws start turning into Deadites. It's kind of like a family reunion from hell. The cast is led by Suhia Yacoub and Hunter Dugan. And both Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are actually producers on this movie, so the classic DNA is still there. But trust me, what makes this movie extra exciting is the fact that Vanecek is the one directing it. And he's getting complete freedom. There's no ties to the other movies. And you know what? After that kind of slow burn in Hokum and then the weird stuff in Backrooms, yeah, I think Evil Dead is going to be the one to deliver the pure, aggressive, unhinged horror energy. And I'm here for it. And I think I'm not the only one. I think Alex is going to like this too. Alright, moving on to number 3. And this is one I'm kind of worried about. I'm going to be honest. The live-action version of Moana. Or Oceania. I don't know. There's so many names out there.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
It's coming on the same day as Evil Dead Burn, July 10th. Now, my biggest worry is the reputation of all these live-action movies. The track record is mixed at best. I mean, The Lion King looked beautiful, but it didn't really jerk those heartstrings, so to speak. The Little Mermaid was a whole completely different story. And Beauty and the Beast, I mean, it was fine. But if you compare it to the originals, come on, guys. So in other words, I'm not holding my breath for this one. But you know what? I might be the only one. Because Moana keeps coming up as that one that actually might make it happen. That would actually succeed in translating this into a good live-action movie. And I think I know the reason why people are so optimistic about this one. Catherine Lagaya, I don't know, I'm terribly sorry if I mispronounced that, is playing Moana. She's a new face, but she's generally Polynesian. And from everything that we've seen, she brings a certain warmth and generosity to this role. Now, Maui is going to be played by Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Now, if you look back at the original, the animated movie, it's one of the most sound and balanced of these animated movies that Disney had done in a while. It has a strong central character, a clear emotional journey, and songs that actually serve the story. In other words, there's good material to start out with. On the other hand, Look, we've heard this before. With every of these Disney live-action remakes, it's, oh, this time around it's going to be different. I actually said this at some point about the Lilo and Stitch movie, which I haven't seen yet. I have no idea how that ended up. And then there's Dwayne Johnson. I mean, I like The Rock, but I don't know if his 0% fat Maui is going to work. On top of that, he doesn't have that same mischievous face that he has in the animated version. What I'm trying to say here is that Dwayne Johnson is too chiseled. He's too handsome. Yeah, I said it. But on the other hand, it might be a good candidate. We'll see. Let's just move over to the next movie, my top tier. Because this is where July starts to turn into something very different. The level just got kicked up a notch. Spider-Man: A Brand New Day. July 31st, the last day of July. But it's going to be worth the wait. First, the setup. 5 years after No Way Home, the world has completely forgotten that Peter Parker even exists. He's operating as a full-time anonymous Spider-Man. And he gets to watch his friends move forward in their lives without him. Really painful. And that whole isolation is starting to trigger something in Spider-Man. It is a physical evolution of his powers that he might not be able to control. That just sounds extremely interesting. Very different from anything we've seen from this Spider-Man up till now. Destin Daniel Cretton is directing. He's the guy who made the Shang-Chi movie. Love that movie. I actually got to see it again recently and so impressed. I find it to be underappreciated by a lot of people. And there is a very stacked cast. John Bernthal is, of course, playing the Punisher. Mark Ruffalo is coming back as the Hulk. In the first instance, he's teaching at Empire State University, but yeah, we've already seen that. He's going back to his old habits. Let's keep it at that. Michael Mando is back as Scorpion. And then there's Sadie Sink, cast in a significant but completely undisclosed role up till now. The official synopsis describes her as a powerful villain no one can even see, which is hinting heavily at Jean Grey, which would make this movie bridge into Doomsday, which is coming later this year. And with the latest trailer we got to see for the movie, yeah, I think they kind of confirmed it. I think at this point, the cat is out of the bag. Now, I'm going to be honest, there's also some question marks with this movie. Kevin Feige was very focused on Doomsday, so he had very little input on this movie. It was the producer, Amy Pascal, that did almost everything, without the Marvel Studio oversight. The script also went through some rewrites. I've seen Tom Holland comment on these rewrites and he was very impressed. It was one of the most fulfilling experiences he's had on this movie. But the combination of the producer actually made all of the decisions instead of the studio, and it had a lot of rewrites. That is a combination that either leads to something genius or to a big failure. There's no road in the middle. So we'll see. But don't get me wrong, I'm very optimistic. I'll be seeing it during the opening weekend, July 31st. But my number one most anticipated film for July 2026, and if you follow my vlog, you know that this one is personal. It's Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, July 17th, the day before my freaking birthday. It's almost as if it was intended. I mean, I don't know where to start with this movie, why it is going to be so good. So let me start out with the cast. Matt Damon as Odysseus, Zendaya, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Mia Goth, Charlize Theron, Robert Pattinson, and yeah, John Bernthal, who is also next to Tom Holland and Zendaya in the Spider-Man movie. So I guess they are having a really good month. But you know what? That cast isn't a movie, it's a statement of intent. This is Christopher Nolan coming straight from Oppenheimer, one of the highest grossing movies in movie history. Best Picture winner. And his follow-up is a $25 million movie based on one of the oldest works in Western history, Homer's Odyssey, a poem that has known many interpretations. That is something that people need to remember, by the way. This is an interpretation, this is not history. Yet it is, but in a different way. But I think Christopher Nolan is about to turn that dial one step higher. Because the thing that a lot of people do not seem to get about the Odyssey, it's not just a movie about a guy on his boat trying to get home. It's like I said, it's one of the oldest works of Homer, in which he tries to reflect the cost of survival. It's about how difficult it is to, after years of fighting, go back to what was before. Odyssey goes through gods, monsters, sirens, but he also has to face himself. And the only conclusion that he can come to is that everything has changed. He can never go back to the way it used to be. That is a story I think we all kind of can relate to. We don't have to fight a war. We don't have to go through trauma. We all have those moments. But if you add all of those monsters, those gods, and you put it on a huge screen, it's going to be a story to remember. But look, I'm not the only one thinking that. The IMAX pre-sales have gone through the roof for this movie. He's breaking records everywhere. This is the film of the summer, possibly the film of the year. If you can watch it, go watch it on IMAX. I have to go all the way to Brussels to do that. I'm not sure if I'm up for that, but it's going to be enjoyable everywhere. But that is the July 2026 watch list. Nolan redefining what a summer blockbuster could look like. Spider-Man rebuilding his life from scratch. The Evil Dead getting a whole new direction with a completely different director that has his own take on one of my favorite franchises and that actually wants to traumatize you. A Disney live-action remake that might actually work. And the freaking Minions are fighting Dracula on July 1st. Yeah. Now, my question to you guys is, Odyssey or Spider-Man? Which one are you going? Maybe both. Let me know in the comments. If you're new here, welcome to Geek and Plunder. We talk about everything that lives in the good part of the internet. Comics, horror, games, sci-fi, all of it. So make sure to subscribe if that is your thing. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It always helps me out. I also want to thank my YouTube members. You too can become a member right here on YouTube and unlock exclusive rewards. If you have a few minutes left, maybe check out one of my other videos. But above all, take care of yourself, take care of each other. Bye-bye.